Congratulations on participating in a new earth. Are you going there? I know so many of you get it. You're raising your frequency, but what else can you do? So many people are asking me, and today we're going to get at the root of how you can shift into the new earth, how you can create and predict your own outcome. We've been talking a lot about this because this should be our focus if we truly want to live amazing lives. I'm going to talk to you today about that. Let's go. Welcome to Landria Onkka on YouTube. Here to help you break through those fears and live an amazing life. Okay, today we're going to talk about something that I'm getting a lot of feedback on. We talk about vibration. We talk about our focus in quantum physics in a very, let's just say, not so scientifically presented way. I'm not a scientist, but you don't need to be one to understand how quantum physics works. I'm here to tell you right now that you truly are in control of your reality and what will happen on the planet. You are in control of your personal reality because yours is going to be different than anybody else's. You came here to experience something very individual and unique. Somebody said that they have dealt with just a horrible lifetime. I said, congratulations. You took on some big tasks. You went into, let's just say, the higher classes rather than the basics. So if you're doing calculus and somebody else is doing basic math, well, they're going to progress a lot quicker. And that's exactly what's happening with some of you who chose some bigger challenges. That's all it is. What is it about? We get hung up on the story. We get hung up on the story and we don't remember what we are. And that's the biggest challenge, is to connect with our true power, which you have never lost touch with. You're always in contact with it. It always is you. Why? Because we are one. We cannot lose touch with that which we are. A lot of people say that I'm not discussing God or Jesus, and I guess they're probably not listening to my videos, because everything I speak of is about these powerful prophets and beautiful people. Christ has come here and told us over and over again, ye are all gods, these things you shall do and more. Say mountain move and it will move. How many more times do we have to hear that? One important thing I want to just reiterate is, if you have faith the size of a mustard seed, then you can do really anything, right? It only takes the size of a mustard seed to move a mountain. Why? Because faith is faith. There is no doubt in faith. There's no questioning in faith. So if you are saying I have faith and then you have a question, you don't have faith. Faith has no questions. Blame, victimization, anger, none of that. So I want to talk today about how do we get in that zone of enlightenment, awakening, the new earth. How do you get in that zone? Because you guys are right there. But then I hear the response and I realize you're really still in that density of questioning, blaming, anger. I want to talk about a couple. We're going to hit a few things today because I really want to help you to shift into that if you choose. You don't have to do anything. This is an invitation-free channel, all right? My opinion, and you don't have to believe a thing I say. I'm not here to debate or argue with any of you. We talk about the news, and I get this frequently. I need to be informed. On what? What is it you're watching that you think is real? What is it you're watching, and what is that information doing for you? But the second thing is, what are you doing with the information? But we need to stop the child slavery and all these things. Okay, yes. At no point have I ever, hey, I'm going to give you a prize if you can find one video when I said you should not do anything. In fact, it's the opposite. I have hundreds of videos on taking action versus sitting and just watching. Now, when I say observe, and I'm talking about you observing right now, this is going to be critical stuff, so really, I want you to really take this in and take a look in here and ask yourself some questions. Am I addicted to some of these things and not really shifting into something different? Am I watching the horrible stuff, telling myself the big lie? That's a video I did. The big lie that we tell ourselves that we need to be informed. Or am I just waiting? You know what? People that are working in those fields with the animal abuse and child abuse and all these things, they're not watching the news. They are the news. They are out in the trenches doing things, changing things, making it happen for a new earth. If you're watching it, you're part of the problem because you're focusing on the density of what's happening out there that is, half of it's not even true, right? Fake news. That is an industry that wants you to watch it, and you're addicted. That's all it is. And other people say, well, this channel's better. Why do you need to watch any of it? Choose where you want to contribute to the higher frequency and go take action. Don't fight it. Don't out there pickets and rubber. No, you don't fight it. You go in and change it. Many organizations, they're going in to change laws, and the people that are the issue in the lower frequency doing these things, they're going in there to stop that at the foundation. You don't just put a patch on everything and it keeps going, right? You have to stop where it's happening. How do we do that? We go into a higher frequency and we find solutions. Peaceful as can be. I know it's not always going to be peaceful. Solutions. Are you doing that? Then you're telling yourself a lie. That you have to be informed. Because you're informed is somebody else has a different informed, and somebody else has a different informed, and then they all argue with each other. It's a lower frequency, that is the old earth, and you will stay there. Okay? So I want you to know something. You are absolutely freaking perfect. You are amazing and beautiful. You have the capability to do anything, to move mountains. All you have to do is have that faith. What is the faith? It's not anger. It's not frustration. If you're feeding yourself that, and that's the feelings you're having, you're going to a lower frequency, you're contributing nothing positive to the new earth. But that doesn't stop other people from going. So those of you who make a choice, ask yourself right now if you're having negative thoughts or you're addicted to all this stuff that's going on out there. We're going to talk about where that's coming from. There has to be a story in order for you to take action, think a certain way, feel a certain way. There's a story going on. So a lot of people, they do my free mobile app, what am I manifesting? Call in your angels. I've got some different things on that app. Yes, iPhone's coming out soon. They're working on it. And then we do 3 seconds to manifest anything, we switch over. And then 3 seconds to raise your frequency, we switch over. But so many are telling me, and I know there's no buts on my channel, people are responding and saying, I still am not making that breakthrough. How do we break through it? There is a story still running in your head that's generating the feeling, okay? Feelings are powerful. Go by your feelings. If there is a feeling that is negative, then ask yourself the source. So my friend who's watching the news that says, I understand, but you're giving me information. What's the feeling you get after you watch my video? What's the feeling? And if it's not good, shut it down. If it's not good, shut it down. No judgment, right? I'm not for everybody. If you're watching that fake news, it is fake. And there's no way that is 100% accurate. It's a spin on everything. Are you feeling bad? That source is a negative source. Shut it down. You're addicted to it. Admit it, you're addicted to it. Because it's how we've been programmed. We're addicted to a lot of negative things, right? And that's encouraged. If the source of whatever you're doing, thinking, feeling, generates a negative lower frequency, that is the root of the problem. So it's a belief. I'm not good enough. I can do all these things. I can never do that. And then you feel bad. The source. Where's the source of that feeling? And that's what you have to deal with. That's what we want to tackle. Well, we don't tackle anything. That's what we want to observe and say. Can I change that? Of course you can. Can I turn the news off? Of course I can. How am I contributing? So if that's something you're passionate about, let's say you're passionate about especially children. Children and animals, the most innocent, beautiful little light beings, rely on us to defend them, to take care of them. But we are part of the collective that is doing things to them. We have to remember that. So if we fuel that with negativity, that we will not change. So ask yourself, if that is something, mine is animals, I love animals, if it's dear to my heart, then instead of looking at it, what can I do to change it and raise the frequency and the behavior of the things that are going on out there? What is that I'm going to do? And so you go in, and instead of watching the news, you go to organizations, say, how can I contribute? Now, I have volunteered and been very involved in animal organizations, and I have to tell you, some of it was really difficult because I actually worked with the animals sometimes, a lot, and nowhere near what my friends do. And I found it difficult. I was much better at, I would actually host and create the events and contribute money. So that was my way of doing what I can in that situation that I was comfortable with. So choose whatever you can do within that cause of yours that is creating this negative feeling. Then when you take action, you're empowering yourself and you are actually helping to change the issue. Your desire and action alone to do that. So somebody says, you're saying we should turn a blind eye. Yeah, show me the video that I've ever said that. So this is another story. So I'm going to tell myself I have to watch it, because if I don't, I'm turning a blind eye on it. No. There's a lie. There's a lie. You can shut it down and go do something about it. So let's not BS ourselves anymore, please. I have to watch the news. Here's a station. Somebody sent a station over. It got blocked, by the way. You can't promote your stuff on the channels. It's not allowed. So somebody's promoting some other channel. It's a Christian church. This will be good. I'm like, why? It's just more talk about things that we're not doing anything about. So I don't need to hear you talk about it. I know what's going on out there, and probably don't have any clue just how bad some of these things are. So what are you doing? Go to the root of the negative feeling. So now we talk about the action that must be taken, the contribution toward the positive change that can alleviate your excuses why you have to watch the negative news, which contributes nothing but a lower frequency to the planet, so you're not really doing your job. We all came here to raise our frequency, and we all get caught in it, believe me. It's not easy to walk around this planet and not get those feelings and see things. What am I doing about this situation? What can I do at this moment? What can I do ongoing? So the other thing, the biggest one, is a story in your head that's generating all this stuff that you need to deal with, because it's going to keep going. It's going to keep running. So if it's, guilt or anger or blame, we have to say, why are these negative thoughts being generated? What is the root story in my head that I'm telling myself that keeps generating that negative one? Because I can have you switch all day, right? Boom, boom, boom. And it is that simple. But if it keeps showing up, then there's something deeper that needs to be dealt with. Not analyzed. Don't go to the shrink and you get, here's why it's happening, but there's no solution. We want solutions for you. So what are we going to do? Say, what thought, what belief, and it has to be a belief. I can have a thought, but I can say, I could say anything. I can make up something, but my belief, if I don't believe it, this is why people don't manifest what they desire. They have thoughts. I want to be a millionaire, and the belief is, I can never be a millionaire. I don't deserve it. I'm not smart enough. We do all that stuff, right? So what is that thought? What is that belief behind whatever's being generated? So this is when we get in touch with our frequency and our feelings. What is my frequency right now? Somebody said, how do you gauge it from 1 to 10? I said, you feel good? or you feel bad, or you feel neutral. There are pretty much just 3 ones, and then there's ranges within it. I'm feeling really bad, and I'm feeling really euphoric, and that's enlightenment, that's miracles, that's all kinds of great stuff. When I teach that class, Shift into Miracles, I actually teach you how to shift into miracles and what that means. Because that's real. Of course it's real. We know miracles are possible. We have people walking around. I had a spontaneous healing. And it wasn't just me healing myself. There was another energy involved. I think 2 other energies involved, to be honest with you. I was very aware of that. There's things beyond what we know. You don't have to know all this stuff. But don't be afraid of it. So open yourself up, and this is what I do. I tell people, when you go into a higher frequency, you can open up to absolutely everything because you're not in fear. So negative feeling is fear. When you're watching the news, you're fearful. When you are not paying your bills, you're fearful. So your focus is on the negative story that this is how it's going to be and I can't get out of this. I need to change this need, the N-word. I need to. Well, you know, I don't like to use that. But if you would like to shift out of that fear and that horrible feeling that things are going to be really bad going on here, you have to change that story. So here's what I do. I have a story and I know it, and this is the way it is for me. And it doesn't have to be your story. And I'm not here to argue what the story is, because we each get to choose our own story. There's no right nor wrong. And if you choose a story that we're going to go into something really horrible that's going to destroy us, okay, that's your story. You get to create that reality. If you don't want that, what's the story, the belief I'm telling myself that's in my head that's creating that negative thing? You've probably been programmed or watched something, or you know, or there's enough of negative stuff you're watching that you're falling for it. And it is true. Is that the reality you're choosing? Because there's another story and another belief where a separate reality and a separate dimension exists. We know this. We've watched my videos on science, right? The basics of science as I describe it, but it is all real. And that is, you can go into multiple dimensions, different realities, different frequencies. And when you choose anything within there, you go into that space and it's real for you, it's real for you. Because we're creating everything. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed, right? We're just manifesting and shifting into these different things, but there has to be a belief behind it. I know that we're going into a golden era. I know we're doing it. I know that this planet is going into higher frequency. It's documented, and it is just say a collective contribution that is creating the higher frequency on the planet, in addition to many other factors. But the bottom line is the planetary frequency is documented to be higher than it's ever been in the history of the planet. That's amazing, all right? And there's a direct correlation between our thoughts and feelings and what we contribute and that frequency. That means we can change her DNA, so to speak, right? We can change her future as a collective. Now, you don't have to live in that dimension. You can shift to a dimension where we go to hell in a handbasket. Now, those of you who are going to shift into the higher one and know we're going to a golden era, accept the fact that there are going to be things that happen along the way that you're going to see that are disturbing. But when you go to the higher frequency, you see it differently. So your belief behind it is different. So when I see stuff happening, I know that it's shifting into something higher and that these things have to dissolve, and that can be very unpleasant. Right? When there's a dragon attacking you, you have to slay the dragon. We don't want to slay the dragon. Okay, bad scenario. So when something happens and there has to be a final outcome that's more peaceful, something else has to go away. And sometimes there's a little bit or a lot of discomfort in that. And that's what's going to happen here. And that's what is already happening here. I walked down to this farmer's market yesterday in total euphoria, and I realized I had stepped into heaven on earth. Absolutely everything that's happening around me is so amazingly perfect and beautiful because I'm choosing it. And that includes helping people who are going through struggle. I'm not turning a blind eye. I am helping other people. I'm actually doing every day from morning till night. That's all I do. I help people. I give them tools. I train them. I shoot videos. I do stuff all day. My little birdies put a second nest up there. I'm watching little babies. It's like being in Disneyland, but there's another component of my life that is dealing with this stuff that's going on out there and not turning away from it and saying my belief is that all of these things going on there can change if it chooses. And I want to help be a catalyst for that. So those of you who are watching, what are you doing? So I walk the walk, and I'm not perfect, and I am a human being. And as an awakened person, you're going to have the same human experiences of density that we all do. Fear, anger, all these things. It's how you handle it that's going to determine where you go, your frequency, and if you're going to ascend. Because you get to choose it. All right? So I want you to know that there has to be a belief back here. And what's the belief? If you are watching all this stuff, that's an addiction. I believe that I'm helping, that I need to do this. So be honest about the belief. I must watch the news to be informed. So ask yourself if that's a lie. You're kidding yourself because you actually know that's not true. You know it's not true. Wouldn't it feel really good if you actually did something about it? Wouldn't it feel really good? You can even do it off of your computer. You guys see this all the time. We train people that you can use the computer. You can learn how to use it in the most powerful ways to help charities, to get the word out, to inform people. If you can't do it physically or monetarily, then there's no excuse. People say, when I get money, I'll do this. I said, what a big lie. What a load of garbage. We know it. That's a story, and it's made up. That I'm helpless without money. You can do a lot of things. Mother Teresa, she wasn't wealthy. What did she do? She asked for the giving of other people who didn't want to do what she did in the trenches, and they gave the money. Like I do with the animals. I do what I can, and I give the money because I don't feel that I am absolutely the best person to go into the trenches. All right? So what are you doing right? Does this make sense? You've got to be honest with yourself. What is the belief back here that keeps generating the negative thoughts? What must I change? And take a good hard look and be honest with myself. And you can tell yourself any story you want and hang on to that belief and blame people. And I get a lot of people, Christian, religious people that make comments that are just so mean. That's not Christian to me. You are this and you're going to hell. And is that what Jesus would want you to say? So there's a lie there. There's a story you're telling yourself that everybody's evil, and if they don't think the way I do. I'm going to tell you something about Christ and God for those of you who are not getting that I'm talking about that all the time. That is the highest power of all creation. It is unconditionally loved. It has no judgment whatsoever. It loves us no matter what. And that's been said over and over and over again. So if you're thinking anything different than that, that is not God-like. That is not Christian-like. So let's not tell ourselves a lie. We must love one another unconditionally. No matter what comes out of that mouth or what that person does, we take the action in the most loving, peaceful way as possible. Sometimes that's not always possible, but that's where we have to go. Get it at the root. So let's be honest with ourselves, because if we're going to go into the new earth, we have to be the participants in that change. What are you doing to help the change? And it could be with your own job. It could be with what you're doing for a living that has contributed negatively to the planet, and making a decision to do something else that is really positive. You know, working with an organic farmer or an organic products or sustainable products versus some of the things we've been doing over here. Go into your heart. This will tell you what frequency that job is or that relationship. So many of you are writing say, I got out of a bad relationship. Bless that person and move on. So we all think that, you know, we have this thing in our head, these stories we tell ourselves, And a lot of them, they just don't make sense. Your world is going to rely 100% on whatever story you're telling yourself right now. And my story is that we're doing it. I know we're doing it. So my frequency is in alignment with other people that know this to be true for themselves. Maybe it's not for you. We're going into a golden era. It won't be everyone because they're not choosing. Somebody said, "Are my kids going to go?" I said, "Of course they will. You don't leave anybody." But the situation you're going to find yourself in, the dimension you find yourself in, is a different one than others might be experiencing. People don't just die when we shift over. You just shift into a reality where the circumstances, frequencies, and people involved in that will be different than somebody else's. So like I said, it's a mansion with rooms. You could be on the, on the top floor with a beautiful view of the sky, and somebody could be in the cellar basement. And we're all in the same mansion, but we don't know that. I don't know you're down there. But we still are in that. We'll still be on the planet in a different dimension. And nobody totally has these answers. Science doesn't even. But we know enough to know that this is true. You get to choose it. You can screw around and tell yourself stories, but if you're feeling negative or going in a negative frequency, then you know you're not shifting into that new earth. So get at the root of it. And don't blame other people or fight or argue or debate. Nobody wants to be around that. You are perfect. You're beautiful. There's nothing you can't do. There's nothing you can't create. And if you're struggling now with something, what's the story that's creating that? Change that story and take the action to change the situation, because we are in a seemingly material world, purposefully. So we can play out and act out these roles. Do your job. There's nothing you can't do. Say mountain move and it will move. Not you're going to shift into the reality and it will be over here. Right? People have done that. They've shifted into other realities, other dimensions, and a building has moved. They didn't watch, say, building move and the building moved. They shifted into that dimension and that time, a different reality where the building was in a different place or not even there. This is how it works. We're going to keep going over and over and over this because we're still going to go through some stuff here. And by the way, you guys, Georgia is, somebody said to me, if you can manifest anything, then, manifest no lockdown. Guess what happened that same day? We came out of lockdown. The only state in the country, right? The only state that came out of lockdown was Georgia. So my friend who told me, if you can do this, no, I'm not taking credit for that. But it's sort of ironic that where I am is we are not in lockdown. But I want to assure you all that those here in Georgia, I am in Atlanta, so I'm in a city. I want to share with you right now that we are not open for business. I am not seeing anybody open for business, and we're getting emails from just about every business around here that they are not open for business. So I want to just assure you that we're being responsible here, and that those who are open for business are still doing the deliveries and really being very cautious, and still keeping just minimal people in stores like, the grocery stores and that. I have seen no changes here. And if there are small businesses opening, well, they are in the minority of what the other businesses are doing, all right? So we're okay. We're going to be okay. Just hang in there. Raise the frequency. Focus on you, all right? Not them, and they're doing this, and what. No, that's an excuse. That's a deviation from you. Because if you're feeling anything negative, you're blaming somebody else for it. Sorry, it starts here, right? With all of us. You're whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. My Shift into Miracles class, 3-hour manifesting class, wow, it's going gangbusters. It's down here, and there's a code for a discount if you want to take it. You guys, this is going gangbusters. People are coming over, and they are so excited and happy. This is internet marketing training. It's an education system. It's not, here, make money. yes, you get trained on how to do that, but you're getting trained actual skills. So if you have a charity, if you writing a book, if you want to do a podcast, if you want to open up a store that's responsible online, if you want to be a coach, if you want to just learn how to make money online, and then you get to pick and choose those things, that they show you all of that. So you can click, this is a free workshop, and you get an offer that's limited right now. I can't talk about it because it's not going to be public for months. But I'm allowed to offer it to our students, and you can go here and you'll see what that is. And free webinar, free workshops, all that stuff. So go over and check it out. If it's not for you, unsubscribe. Every response that you have can be a positive one. Oh, thank you. This isn't for me. Oh, bah! This soup is horrible. Or, excuse me, could you please take the soup back and warm it up? Thank you. You have a choice in everything. It's baloney if you tell yourself something else. There are high frequency responses and low ones. Which one are you going to choose? We're going into a new earth. Please join me. Everyone can go. You're whole and perfect, strong, powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Blessings to you, my friend. Namaste.